Hey everyone, welcome back to the Weekly Awakening Podcast. This is your host, Cosmic Colleen, back with another weekly astrology update. On this episode, we're going to be talking about Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto ingressed into Aquarius on November 19th, and it will be there for a very, very long time. 2 decades, baby. We're going to talk about Mercury in Sagittarius retrograde, which happened on November 25th. Mercury stationed retrograde, and it will go opposite Jupiter in Gemini, happening on Wednesday the 5th, again at the end of December. And then it also happened last week on November 18th. So we're going to talk about a little bit of a storyline that is happening, especially for my mutable placements. We got the sun had moved into Sagittarius on November 21st. I know I'm loving being in Sagittarius season compared to Scorpio season. Wednesday, November 27th, Sun trine Mars, and on December 1st, we have the new moon in Sagittarius. So again, my mutable energy, that is my Gemini, my Virgo, my Sagittarius, my Pisces placements, you guys are going to be feeling this week the most and the most intense. Now, where have I been? I know some of my loyal followers out there, some of you guys already know, but where have I been? I am sorry, I think the last episode I left you guys with, I was heading off to St. Lucia. And then I came back and bam, life smacked me in the face. I had a lot of life issues that required me to put my extra attention towards that and not the podcast, not my astrology. And so when I got back, I dealt with some life stuff that was happening, and I was all ready to get ready to do my episode. I mean, I guess it's been almost 5 weeks since I dropped my last episode, and I made my son Abram homemade miso soup. It was so good. I was so proud of myself, and I allowed him to eat it beside my computer, which I know better. This is my fault because I'm always yelling at him about eating food around electronics, and he's literally me. I'm so clumsy. And he spilt it. Him and his brother got into a fight, spilt it, and totally killed my computer. Like, gone, was not turning back on. Luckily, I did have that computer for 5 years. I was hoping to have it longer. However, I at least got 5 good years out of it. And so it took me forever to get another computer. I got another computer with the full moon in Taurus, and some of you guys saw me post some stuff online, and I recorded an episode. And literally, I had like nothing right. I had the wrong cord to download it for my road coaster. And then I couldn't get my computer working right. And then it locked me out. So it was kind of like the universe was like, sit down, bitch, take a break. And you guys know me. I trust that. When nothing is going my way the way I want it to, I do not force it. I just trust that there's a reason why I wasn't able to put this episode out there. So clearly I needed a little bit of a break because I was malfunctioning pretty hardcore. I really was. So now here I am. And you know what's funny is that episode I did about the full moon in Taurus, I was not really feeling that episode. I really wasn't. I kind of felt all over the place. So again, the universe did not want me to put this out. Now, I want to thank you guys again for supporting me. We are coming across in January, it will be 5 years since I dropped this podcast. So the best way you can support this podcast, I'm still fully self-supporting, is to rate, review on whatever you listen to this on, share this with a friend, share it with somebody else, subscribe, all those things, post about it. You guys do all of that, and that has been helping me get this podcast directly where I want it to be. And something else kind of new for me is I have always done my astrology notes on a notebook. And I do like to handwrite things, but I got a MacBook. I had a gaming computer my last time. So I've been actually kind of writing my notes online, and it's also one of the ways I'm trying to leave less of a carbon footprint. You know, I'm like, what am I going to do with all these physical books? I guess I should just start putting it online. So this is a new beginning for me. Now, let's jump into Pluto in Aquarius. We have been feeling this on a collective level. Pluto, since 2020, has been in the late degrees of Capricorn and the early degrees of Aquarius. Since then, you know, it's been retrograding back and forth for the last pretty much 3 years. It's been at that close to the 29th degree, 28th degree, and that 0 degree at the end of Capricorn and in Aquarius, you know, the two most intense degrees. Pluto, what does Pluto rule? It rules the underworld, power dynamics, the underbelly that pulls you away from purity, truth, the truth that we don't want to see, but that kind of deep hidden truth. Pluto keeps you separated through power and ego. And collectively, we are seeing that. In other ways, it's 2020 with that square that was happening between Saturn and Uranus that kind of kicked it off too. This very strong desire for the old, as we're jumping way ahead into the new. And you can see these power dynamics play out. And I know my clients are sensing it. Kids are sensing it. I'm sensing it. Everybody, and I'm talking even on a deeper level than just the politics, are feeling it at a big, big degree. We have moved faster than ever when it comes to technology, when it comes to communication, and our brains are just starting to catch up, and they don't like it. Our brains are like, what the heck is happening? What is going on right now? So between the things that you guys know, let's talk about Capricorn, let's talk about Aquarius. Between Capricorn and Aquarius, we are seeing that play out with the war between the old and the new. Yes, ancient astrologers, they tie both Aquarius and Capricorn with the ruler of Saturn. Now, Aquarius also has a little bit of, the moderns say Uranus. And I kind of like to tie Uranus into the Aquarius equation, but let's just talk about Saturn right now. Saturn and Capricorn, the earth sign, right? What does that rule over? That is the new. That is the stagnant. That is the not changing. That is the comfortable in what you know. That is the black and white. Aquarius, there is some comfort in the fixed sign of Aquarius and knowing where it belongs, but also in that looser air sign quality, we have the new, the innovative. Think about Aquarius energy. It's always kind of funky and thinking outside the box and kind of otherworldly and very opposite of traditional. There can be some traditional ideologies amongst Aquariuses, but there's also this sort of looking at the world in all different types of colors. So are we ready, like I said, for how fast the world has changed? Some of us, yes. Some of us, no, not at all. I mean, even for myself, yes, I love the way that, certain things have changed, and I think that's all, but I also think some things have changed maybe a little too fast. I mean, everything is about coming into the middle and finding that happy ground in the middle. It is called balance, people, and I know we're in the season. Now we're in Sagittarius season. We're in the total opposite of balance. They don't know how to balance anything. They just know extremes. But again, everything is so intense, and we're in a world that's intense, and we're also in a world, I was telling my kids this the other day, that they are like, we're entering a world where we don't really know what truth is. What is truth? What is desire? What is all of that? Truth right now is whatever content you're taking in, right? And taking it online. And I don't mean politics. It could be like, hey, I believe that unicorns are the true aliens, and you're going to find 20,000 people online who also believe that. And then you're going to find every different way to sort of prove your theory. Now, Pluto is here to stay for 2 decades in Aquarius, and Pluto moves about 1 degree a year. So we are going to feeling this strong for the next 3 years, just like we were feeling it the last 3 years. We're going to feel it strong for the next 3 years while it balanced out in the beginning, it was in the end of Capricorn. Now it's in the beginning of Aquarius. So people are starting to feel uncomfortable with themselves, especially with how fast everything has moved. Our brains are in overload, overdrive. We've created a world that it is in constant go, 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 go. Pluto brings that truth and shows us these really hidden truths. So sometimes these truths we're not even aware of within ourselves. And we also got to think with the new innovative is that they're going to be truths that we didn't even know were there. In Aquarius, we see that there is no more truth through the evolution of technology. Like I had just said, it happens so fast. We are seeing all these ugly truths in worldly issues, especially with people or companies that we once held on a pedestal. I mean, think about Puff Daddy. He is a Scorpio, and Pluto, more modern astrology, ties that as their ruler. And that is why I know that everything he's doing is also not a lie, right? Besides, there's too many facts coming out about it. I'm looking at this dude's astrology and I'm like, all right, we got the Scorpio an Aries rising, a Mercury in Scorpio. He's got a 6th house in Pluto, the house of the descendant. You know, what lies underneath that? And so when I'm looking at P. Diddy, I'm like, whoa, all right, this mother effer, he definitely did some shit he should not have done. If I looked at his chart and it was just like a really positive chart with that, but he's got all of the deep hidden sexual energy that someone's chart can bring. So again, those sort of truths we're going to keep seeing. We're going to see in Hollywood, we're seeing in the people who were sort of doing the wrong thing. This is their time to repay. This is their time for karma. I think we're going to, see the downfall even more so of celebrities, maybe even online people. What is this little red bug? What are those little red bugs that are outside? You see in the summertime, really tiny. One just One just crawled across my computer. Sorry. I'm like, how did that get in here? But these are some thoughts, right, that I want to bring up with Pluto and Aquarius, and then we'll move on from here. One of the things this transit is going to bring is the loss of truth, like I said. So everything online is often and will be in some way fake, altered, dark, etc. There will be truth again one day, but right now this is the new truth. And then this got me bringing these questions, and ask yourself this. What is truth? What kind of construct is truth? Isn't truth a perspective? Is it something we create? That will essentially be the essence of Pluto in Aquarius. What is truth? And we're going to be seeing that on a collective level. We're going to be seeing it in a famous level. We're going to see it in a corporate capitalism level. We're going to see it in our own levels. What is truth? And the truth is a perspective, right? Like, what kind of truths do we have at the beginning of human time versus what truths do we have now? What do we build on? Is truth something created in the moment? So right now, everything seems so weird, so funky, so all over the place because the idea of truth has changed. And not only has it changed, it's all kinds of different directions. It's going everywhere. And everyone is losing their mind because they're like, what is reality? That's what's happening right now, which is very Pluto and Aquarius. What is reality now? Because it has changed and moved so fast. One of the things I loved about St. Lucia and all the countries I visited over the last couple of years that we need to get better at in America here is one thing I've noticed is there is no road rage. I'm talking like every country I have been into, people are pulling out. Someone's pulling out and going slow. Someone's cutting someone off. Someone's getting stuck on a really tiny road and both people are going. And every time it ends with a smile, a wave. If there is a beep, it's a friendly beep. No one's in a hurry. And even if they are in a hurry, they like sort of accept with ease what's happening around them. And I'm like, that shows a lot here in America alone. How much stress do we have when all these other countries, like I always say in my episodes when I come back, they just are enjoying life and making the most of it. And they don't need more like we do in America. And it honestly reflects through driving. You're going to see somebody's ugly truth while driving. Or when I have road rage, I'm often like, wait, chill, pause, Colleen, put the pause button on. What are you really mad at? What are you really mad at? And now, Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius. My mutable placements are going to be feeling this the most. This retrograde is going to be opposite Jupiter and Gemini, which means Mercury, the planet of communication, of movement, your daily movements, your thoughts, your expressions, your talking, all things communication in the mind. And Jupiter, the planet of belief, of faith, of abundance, of growth, they are going to have mutual reception, and they are both retrograde. So this is a really interesting retrograde that's happening. So both of these placements, they are said to be in their detriment in those signs because they're in opposite signs. However, when both of the planets are in each other's signs, that is, like I said, mutual reception. So they kind of are involved with the transit. They're kind of working together with this transit. So yes, they're opposite signs. They're retrograde. They're in each other's detriment. But both of these planets are in one another's sign, which means there is going to be energy that works things out. And these are some samples of that energy just so you guys can get a better idea of what I'm talking about. Someone tells a story that doesn't make sense. However, you know what they mean. You know what I'm saying? When someone's like, I'm sorry, that didn't make sense. But you know what they mean. And you say, it's okay, I understand what you mean. That is the essence of this energy. So confusion, but they're working together. The truth is right underneath the surface of all things happening with this retrograde, all things that are happening with this opposition that's happening 3 times. The truth is right under the surface of all things. There will be truth in any miscommunication that happens. The truth will be the layer right underneath that. There will be a mental shakeup or feeling confused out of it, taken over by emotions. But in the end, it will just be what we needed. Trust any fights or arguments that come up during this time because, again, the truth will be revealed. Resentments, those will be truthful resentments that need to come up. Resentments are ugly, but they free both people. They free you most of all, and then they free the other person that is on the giving or the receiving end of that. The energy needs to shift out of you guys, though. It really, really does. Monday the 18th, those 2 planets will, like I said, they went opposite each other. So think about maybe what played out on the 18th. It will happen again on December 4th. And then Mercury stations direct on the 15th, and it will go opposite the 26th. And that will be sort of telling us the end of the story. So whatever story plays out over these few dates, it will all come full circle on the 26th. So again, what happened on the 18th? Maybe it was just a thought. Maybe it was an energy. Maybe it's something that wasn't so major, but if you can go back to what you were thinking or what you were processing during that time, that will help. Because again, this is going to be a story of thoughts. This is going to be a story of aligning your mind, body. I'm sorry, not really your body, but more so your soul and your thoughts, your minds and your energy. That is what's going to be playing out. This is going to be a time where we are reassessing our goals and reassessing our goals with some faith in it, right? Jupiter is faith, and there's a lot of like getting our mind back into place with faith. Now, we're going to talk a little bit more about what Mercury retrograde means and what does Jupiter retrograde look like. So Mercury retrograde, like we know, oftentimes they always say, oh, don't sign any contracts, don't sign anything, don't start anything new. Well, yes, there is a layer to that. And with this one, I feel like it's extra, like I said, a little bit wonky, but then there is this mutual reception that is having with both the planets. So this is a time where we can reassess. Any retrograde is good for reassessing, re-looking. Things coming back around, they're coming back around for you to work with, not against or to avoid. If it's something new, it just is kind of like, this might not be exactly what we thought it was going to be. So Jupiter retrograde, and because I know I'm always talking about Mercury retrograde, and that's probably what we know the most about, but with Jupiter retrograde, sometimes this can bring going backwards with our growth, or something that was growing in our lives, all of a sudden it's kind of shrinking. However, that could be a good thing. I think, like I said, I try to trust every avenue of everything, and sometimes something may look bad, but you see later on down the road how it actually was good and you're happy. So something can shrink. It can go backwards with our growth. But this is a time when it is going backwards for us to realign our mindset, right? There's the Mercury part. So crap, I'm not going the direction I want. I'm not growing. I'm not doing things. Things aren't working out. How can I shift my mindset? That's going to be playing out over this time. Minimalism is a big theme, symbolizing what kind of clutter do we need to get rid of and how can we simplify our lives. This is going to be at everything in our lives, especially from our mutable placements, are going to feel a little bit out of control, but it's happening because we need to remove the clutter. We need to simplify. Oftentimes we won't actually do that, especially for my mutable placements, until we're thrown into chaos. And we actually thrive in chaos, but till we're thrown into the chaos and then we don't want it anymore. So when you are thrown to chaos, you are not going to want that anymore. So how can we simplify our life? Excuse me. This transit will be largely about shrinking that mental clutter, making room for our minds to be filled with new mental energy that we all need. Mercury retrograde and Jupiter retrograde are doing this dance together. So these are some more themes for this little dance between those two. How is this little dance between Mercury and Jupiter going to play out as well? So revisiting our faith and lots of concepts of faith, or returning to faith in some way, putting your emotions where your mind is, not forcing the sense of an emotion, getting lost in a feeling, getting lost in emotions, seeing the truth for what it is. Let me take a drink here. Uncovering the magical belief in the universe, especially for those of you who have been blocked since Saturn has been in Pisces. Losing your sense of time. Where'd I go here? Losing your sense of time. I lost my little place. Now I don't have a little booklet. I got a little arrow that I got to push down on. Lots of deep and otherworldly conversations. Returning to an adventure, a new adventure that's good for your soul. Normal thought patterns may be disturbed or disrupted. And we're going to experience a little bit of that disrupted or disturbed energy on December 1st. We have the new moon in Sagittarius. Now, often new moons are much lighter, easier. However, this new moon will be definitely, that day will feel Mercury retrograde like. We got the new moon will square Saturn in Pisces. It goes opposite Jupiter in Sagittarius and then conjunct Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius. So we got the moon conjunct and it's going opposite Jupiter and it's going square Saturn. So again, that's going to be a major, major time about truth. That's a theme again. You see what I'm saying? Because we also have Neptune at the end of Pisces. So really helping reveal that truth. So it's going to be truth within yourself, family, another person, work, or just a worldly truth. We're going to see some more worldly truths coming up. And we're like, how many more can we see? Spacey, this is going to be a little bit of energy that day. My mutable signs, you were going to feel a little spacey, but making the time for some mental space that you need. So instead of saying, I'm spacey, but let me try to get everything done and fuck it all up, you're going to say, okay, I need to get this mental clutter. I'm going to just sit and relax. I'm not going to do much else. Getting sick of feeling out of control, that you're finally willing to take charge of your mental and emotional self. You know, the night before might be crazy, but you wake up that morning on the moon and just say, oh, I'm ready to do this thing. I'm ready to take charge of my life. Because the only person that can take charge and the only person that's going to get you out of your shit is going to be you. So it's going to be some of you going to need that. Some of us are going to need that. Communication breakthrough with yourself as well as others. But I think more so, again, seeing those truths within yourself. You say the wrong words, but the message does go through. So just watch for that. If you really got to give a message, you may say the wrong words, but trust and believe the message will get through and it will be okay in the end. The exposure of the truth, but that will set you free. Maybe not at first, but again, it will set you free, and just a deeper understanding with certain breakthroughs, especially truth breakthroughs. I don't mean to keep harping on the word truth, but that is all that keeps coming to me when I was talking about this week's transits happening, as well as looking at Mercury retrograde. Truth that we need, truth that we believe. What is truth? Switch ups on our own truths, understanding, and again, the truth within ourselves, because oftentimes we're the ones lying to ourselves the most, and then we don't even realize we're doing it because we convince ourselves we're not. The mind is very, very, very powerful. So imagine this is getting shit out of your way so you can understand your mind a little bit more and control your mind a little bit more. I know not everyone agrees with that concept, but I actually think you control your mind more than you think you can. It's just a lot of work. Think about, what's the one thing I hate doing? Ab workouts. I like to work out. Legs come easy. Arms are my second least favorite. But abs I hate. And that is sort of what a mind is, right? It is not easy. It's not fun. We're going up against old timelines and old things. And we're watching all of these truths that we once knew be uncovered. Or we want them uncovered. And when we watch them uncover, we don't even realize what is happening with us sometimes. And that's going to be a little bit of the theme too, is like deep family truths, especially with Saturn and Pisces squaring this. Deep family truths. What are these ideologies you've been holding on to that maybe you just don't believe in anymore? Or maybe you just don't see them? Because truth does evolve, right? Evolves. The truths that were true 100 years ago aren't true to today. So truth does evolve, and maybe we all need to be somewhat open-minded with whatever shows up. I think the world would be a better place if we were all slightly open-minded. Some of us are more so, right? My mutable signs, that's a great thing. We tend to be open-minded, but not always the rest of the world. Now, I hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving, a great time with family, lots of loved ones. I am going down to visit my sister with my children on Friday outside New Orleans for 5 days. My mother's still down there, still dealing with a lot of health issues with her, but she is, just riding the waves of her life too. So next week there will not be another episode, but the following, next weekend there will be one that will be out. And I promise you, I will be back to my weekly episodes. Thank you guys for being patient with me and allowing me to have the space while I did this break. And I hope I didn't disappoint all of you. I know I didn't, but there's always that worry because I love doing this. I really love sharing this information and helping everyone out. I hope everyone has a beautiful time with family. And if you feel stressed with anyone or family, do a little gratitude list. You don't have to write it out, but you can just real quick shout a little gratitude prayer about what you are grateful for. And I guarantee you it will take you out of whatever BS is happening. Remember that with these truths, when you're all tipsy-topsy looking at your own truth, go to a grounded gratitude list. It will ground your energy faster than you think. I love you, everyone. Thank you. Have an amazing holiday, and I will be back. I love you. Goodbye.